There have been several witness testimonies at the Public Order Emergency Commission (POEC) that have confused many observers. While the intended purpose of the POEC is to determine whether or not Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's use of the Emergencies Act in order to shut down the Freedom Convoy protest in Ottawa, the Commission has gone down a lot of strange rabbit holes that seem intended just to harm the reputation of the convoy. We have seen lawyers representing different interested parties in the Commission go after convoy-linked witnesses for things such as memes and random political beliefs. But we have also seen witnesses who frankly should not have been asked to testify in the first place. These are individuals like Patrick King, James Bowder, and Jeremy MacKenzie. All these individuals were either just truges who had nothing to do with the official convoy organization, or like King and Bowder, had been soliciting donations for separate sovereign citizen-style organizations that had little direct influence within the Ottawa protest. Regardless, the Liberals love their presence at the Commission and need them in order to fabricate an impression during the POEC that at the very least Trudeau can claim that he perceived the Emergencies Act was needed to avoid chaos. Bowder's testimony was definitely a sideshow, but who the federal Liberals, anti-convoy lawyers, and the legacy media really wanted to hear from was King and MacKenzie. Yes, they had little to nothing to do with the actual convoy, but they are easy targets to try and smear the convoy with, because both men consider themselves somewhat integral, and both have rightfully poor public reputations. Patrick King is a man who not only pushed pseudo-legal approaches to end mandates and lockdowns, including having the Governor-General remove Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister, but King has also had a history of presenting himself as a wounded veteran to solicit donations for himself, which he made an excuse-filled apology for after being caught. During the convoy, King was noticeably not on the ground in Ottawa much of the time, but had a decent pull on social media, where he became the instrument for the legacy media's smears of the Freedom Convoy after going on several racist diatribes. It makes the legacy media's anti-convoy work so much simpler when they can deflect from trying to prove the Freedom Convoy was anything but non-violent by just pointing at Patrick King saying foolish garbage while he drives around the outskirts of Ottawa. When it comes to Jeremy MacKenzie, the smears become even more obvious for the legacy media to make. Despite only being on the ground in Ottawa for a few days, trialed by white nationalist losers like Tyler Russell, MacKenzie became a focal point for claiming the Freedom Convoy could turn violent. Due to MacKenzie and his friends mouthing off during live-stream podcasts about overthrowing the government, and regardless of the fact that the media goes after Jeremy MacKenzie's joke Diagolin group, which makes them look paranoid, MacKenzie does in fact have a history of anti-Semitic statements and alleged violence. Diagolin is a joke, but MacKenzie becomes a less humorous character when he talks about the Nuremberg trials being kangaroo courts, and that Owen Goring was murdered for talking too much sense. MacKenzie is also currently facing trial in Saskatchewan for allegedly beating his girlfriend in 2021 and pointing a gun at someone who confronted him about his violent behavior, which is why he testified over Zoom from a prison cell. Again, people like King and MacKenzie have basically nothing substantial to do with the Freedom Convoy, especially the convoy's official board, but the Liberals and other interested anti-convoy groups love both men for how they are acidic to the convoy's reputation. Even during both of their testimonies, Patrick King just came off as an irreverent vagrant, with little to say about the convoy other than just his opinions, and Jeremy MacKenzie answered stupid questions about Diagolin and said that RCMP officers had been leaking him information. A staffer from Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino's office even said Mendicino didn't want to put too much pressure on the Freedom Convoy because he wanted to keep the crazies in the Freedom Convoy understanding the vast majority of convoy participants would condemn people like King and MacKenzie and demand they go home. Freedom Convoy organizer Benjamin Ditcher even said in his own testimony that MacKenzie had been a long-term personal troll of his for quite a few years, due to being Jewish. Effectively, Patrick King, Jeremy MacKenzie, and Trudeau's Liberals are inadvertent partners in crime, as King and MacKenzie sought to get attention from wading into the convoy, and the Liberals want them to suck up all the attention from the Freedom Convoy in order to smear all the peaceful Canadians who attended the Ottawa protest.